Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
What's going
Hey,
on? What's going on with you?
yeah,
It's time to keep it 100 once again.
Well, we
absolutely.
got to do what we got to do. It's been,
That's right.
we got to bring the show back. We got to keep things rolling. Keep things rolling.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we can kind of little debrief real quick from our interview last week
Uh-huh.
with Shonda Sine.
Okay. Okay.
Now, Houston, you were actually in studio with us. You actually did the recording. And we did learn how we're going to do things going forward and kind of tweak things. We saw what we needed to do and how we need to change things. But you were there. But Maurice, you watched. What did you think?
I thought it was great. I was really, I was really captured. I enjoyed it immensely. I couldn't take my eyes off the whole show and everything. It was absolutely perfect. My heart goes out to her,
Yeah,
for that. But she's a lot stronger now, so
Yeah. Yeah.
can't beat it.
She went through a lot,
Yes, she did.
yeah, a
and
lot.
and to keep the smile on her face and kind of push through, because some people it would have made them bitter. It would have made them, just go in the opposite direction.
Yes.
Certain things. So,
Yeah.
but you did a good job hosting there earlier.
Yes, and that was great. Great host. Great interview.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Let me tell you, um, the fact that when we were talking, and she even knew of all of the rumors or the different versions of her life that had been going around Greenville, because Greenville is it's a big town, but back, it was a small town, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and because I told her, hey, well, I heard that, because like I said, we were going based off of the Derek that we knew growing up in school.
Right. Right.
And I said, and I felt bad because I'm like, this accident really messed him up, you know, and that's
And
what I've been
I
thinking
didn't even
all these
know.
years. I have been
I
thinking,
didn't
oh,
even know about a vehicle accident.
yeah,
Um, it was the rumor was it was a football accident.
well,
That happened when he was a kid.
we'll see. We talked about it, and it, the rumor, the story that I heard, I was just now really coming back from the military.
Right.
I was coming back and forth visiting at home, and when I
Hmm.
heard about this happening,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh my God, what happened? Because my last memory of them was Happy Times,
Right.
and
Right.
when she told me, I said, yeah, because I felt bad because the accident. I said, the accident really messed him up and ruined, a great relationship. And the funny thing was, she said, okay, let me go ahead and correct it. This started before his accident. The accident
Right.
happened, but this
Right.
happened before, which put the whole story in a different context.
Right. Right.
Hey,
Because now
look,
we're not
I
talking about,
look. when she said when she said that he was a preacher, that blew me completely away and
yeah, I
everything.
had no idea.
No
No idea.
idea.
And
I mean, he
and
was a legend. He was a look. He was a grade ahead of us. Well, I'm
yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
grade. He was in the same grade as you, but
yeah,
he was a grade ahead of me. And he was a legend, if you
yeah.
will. Um, Growing as when I got out to the Winterville areas and everything. I mean, everybody talked about him as they would like he was like he was a hero, an actor, or
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, he was.
Yeah.
Well, when our grade, honestly, and I'm not just talking about because I'm an 88 graduate, but our grade turned out so many athletes, so many
Yeah.
popular people, and
Yeah.
then the person that I couldn't think of his name during the interview was Bronswell Patrick. Bronswell I think
Yeah.
he played
He played for the
professional
Oakland
ball.
A's. Yeah,
Yeah, and
he
he
went to play for the Oakland A's.
yeah, they retired his jersey not long ago at Conley, so congrats to
Right.
Bronswell. But
Right.
Bronswell, Troy Ebron, even my brother James Smith, Derek Cradle, um,
Jody
Cody
Bynes.
Bonds and Rashawn Thompson, a lot of the guys, especially from that 88, the team that won the championship, we turned so many athletes. So they were literally legends
Yeah.
to the classes beneath us, you know?
Yeah.
And so they were held in such high regard. That's why when it happened, it was like, oh, this must have really messed up his head. And for her to put that in context and say, hey, look, that is not what happened.
He was already beating on me before the accident.
Exactly.
Right.
And that when I told Houston, I felt so bad as an interviewer because I felt like when she was telling her story, I was like watching a movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what I felt
and
like.
She had me. I'm thinking I'm gonna be handing her to. I'm sitting there like, oh my, like I'm supposed to be interviewing you, and you got me in my feels because it was hard because I know who she is.
Right.
Well, I know the kind of person that she is.
Well, let me add this. She probably, I don't know if she'll remember this, but after the shooting, there was a graduation, and it was my younger brother's graduation, the one after me, and she was there, and she came up to me, tapped me on my shoulder, and I turned around, and there she was, and we had already heard about what had happened to her, and she was just smiling up and stuff like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey." I didn't think she recognized me or knew me. You know what I mean? Because I was a year behind her, and I was just that nerdy kid. Not even really a nerd. I was just that nobody kid there back then. So I didn't even think she even recognized or knew who I was. But she came right up to me and spoke and gave me a hug and everything. And it was really good to see her then.
Well, and that's the thing about Conley. And I know most of the schools in Pitt County, the Pitt area, you literally grew up with these people.
Yes.
Even if you kind of moved away a minute, somehow you always find yourself back either in middle school or high school back with these people. And with Shonda, we pretty much grew up because back then elementary was kindergarten through 8th grade.
Right.
And so we literally grew up together, literally, and through Conley, and so for her to come and share that with, that story for the first time, really.
Yes.
With me, I felt honored because she didn't have to. Right. And the sign to me, and I think a little bit different than most people, but of all the things that she could have been upset about, and it got me too, was when she said, I'm going to try not to cry, is when he put her out of the car on the side of the road. Right. When you feel that type of abandonment, you just don't get over that.
No.
And I could tell that even though she's forgave and moved on, that still is a very sore spot. And I'm like, and as a mother, it's one thing to protect yourself or let somebody harm you. But when you bring a child into the world, it takes on another, your defense takes on a whole nother level.
Exactly.
Because I noticed when she was talking about how she never really fought back until he started bringing their children in it. And he was talking about, and then she said that was the first time she fought back.
Yeah.
When it's not about you and someone else, you really forget about trying to be okay with it.
Right.
Yeah. Because you want, and then she says something that a lot of us women, I say us because I've been there too. You literally hide things from the public because you don't want to ruin this person's image.
Right.
even though they're not deserving of, you know, the respect that you're giving them, it's, you know, you don't want to, one, it makes you feel like a failure,
Right.
you know. And so when she was just telling it, it was just like so heartbreaking to know that someone who, and you I mean, I think you know her, Houston, but Maurice, we went to school with her, wouldn't hurt a fly,
Right.
Yeah.
you
And I
know,
knew her.
would
I
not,
knew her.
yeah. She literally, you know, she's one of the most, you know, respectable human beings. Like, she doesn't, you know, we have our difference of opinion when it comes to politics and things like that. But at the end of the day, she's not going to disrespect anybody. She's not going to harm anybody, you know, and that's just how that's who she is. And to know that someone who offers nothing but love could go through that, it's like it was draining. Like, to know that and to hear was a lot, a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do have another interview coming up. I'm trying to schedule her now. Miss Adia Trinity, she is an author also. She has a book, and I met her through my husband. They were co-workers, and when I tell you, Adia is the kind of person that is going to give you truth, whether you can swallow it or not.
She's gonna give it to you.
Yeah, she ain't gonna force feed it to you. She's gonna lay it out,
Right.
and she's gonna let you pick from it what you need. You can either take it all, or you can take pieces, or leave it alone. But she's gonna give it to you. And when I talked to her, and I said, well, you know, the show's called Keeping It 100. She said, so I said, but you let me know what, you know. I don't believe in those shows where people ambush people or embarrass people, and, you know, ask them questions that, you know, that shock value. And so I said, well, you know, you let me know what, you know, we want to discuss, what parts you want to leave alone. And she says, I'm an open book. She said, you let me know how real you want me to keep it. I was like, okay, we're going to work with that.
Good.
You know?
Good.
Work with it. And she's been through a lot. She has not really the same kind of story as Shonda, but she has just as much of a dynamic story as Shonda does. And you know, to know that kind of the same person, you know, she's not now she will defend herself at all costs, but she's always been helpful and caring. And when you talk about sister love, about women taking care of women, she is that person. She is that person all day. And she will not uphold any of her friends in their BS. So, but anyway, but yeah, I think it was a great show. I'm looking forward to more shows like that. And I think me and Houston were talking about how, you know, we need like the 2 cameras now. Is that what you think in Houston?
Oh yeah. We can definitely do. Now that we got the studio, we can definitely set some things up to have like a 2 camera angle. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You gotta set across from each other, kind of like an interview that you can go back and forth.
And one of my old friends, he's actually a bishop now. He called me the other day, and there's a bishop that's coming to one of his services in August 19th or 18th, one of the 2 days. And they actually want us to come out. They want Insight TV and Keeping It 100 to come out to that service. He's out of New York, and he's coming down. And so don't forget, we also have the Baptist Convention. They're going to be here in Raleigh, I think, next month. Or was it this month? No, next month. In October. And well, the big one is in October. So.
Got it. And we're going to have to put a calendar together so we can put everything on the calendar.
We need to do a virtual calendar so that we all have
access to it,
so we can kind of add things so that we always know that there's something going on, you know, because you might know something that I don't know, and we put it on the calendar. We can decide whether we want to go to it or not. Because Durham just had a soul festival. I didn't know anything about it.
Me either. Sure.
I had no clue, and I would definitely went out there. So interviewed a couple of vendors or whatever. But anyway, Maurice, before we even get into this topic,
Oh, here she
I'm
goes
gonna,
with the disclaimer.
I want to go ahead. I love you, Maurice.
Yeah, I know. I know.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens.
All right.
Okay. So
We're like
first,
the coyote and the sheepdog. You know, we go on the put our timesheet in. You remember that from Warner Brother cartoons?
oh yeah,
The
put
coyote
the
and the
time
sheepdog.
sheet in.
They would both sign in on the timesheet, and
Yep.
the coyote spends his time trying to get the sheep, and the sheepdog beats him up. And then when the sun goes down, they go back and do their time sheet again. They say, "You have a
Yep.
good day, Bob. You have
Yep.
a good day too, Sam."
Okay. Yep. They're gonna sign out. We'll try it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
But so
Yep. I
I've
had a
heard
coworker
two.
like
I've
that.
seen two videos. Here's you don't have those videos queued, do you?
Okay.
You have them queued?
No, because we got to find a way. Yeah, we got to find someone that has Windows, because this MacBook was not let me download it the way we want to.
Gotcha. Okay. So we're gonna have to work on
So
that
let's
too.
just talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. So the first video I saw, it was a gentleman that was talking to these ladies, and I'm gonna paraphrase because I can't remember everything that he said, but the gist of it was you can't raise a successful man. And then he said something to the effect of, because she's trying to raise a man that she can't even get herself.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And then what's his name? Bootsy? Bootsy then came and said that pretty much women only raise soft men. Was that it? That the gist of it? He said a lot.
I think that is pretty much- I think
You
that's
keep
the
Huh?
gist
freezing.
of it. I think,
You keep freezing, Houston.
Yeah, you was
something.
freezing.
It's like, for whatever reason, is whenever we do these streams, like work all day fine, and then as soon as we get ready to do, as soon as I hit go live, I think it's just using up a lot of bandwidth or something's
Oh
going
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see me now?
I can see you. You kind of freeze a little bit, but I can say this. Maybe would it help if I start to do the live stream and let you just join?
Yeah. At first, what you say is first.
Huh? What did he say?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You would
Okay.
have
Like
to
Max
log in the
Headroom.
back end and all that.
Okay. Okay. Well, go ahead, Maurice. You give me your opinion on that.
Okay, so based on what I heard from Houston about that, and experience, as well as what I see on a normal basis, and then you characterize the different times and the locations and stuff like that. There are some women that have successfully raised.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking specifically, it really, it really don't matter what color you are, because Barack Obama, his dad was not in the picture. His dad was way over in Africa,
Yeah.
and his mother was a white lady raising a black child in the United States. That's deep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not only a black child who ended up being president.
yeah.
Like,
But
how
see,
many
they were
hurdles
raised
is
in
that?
Hawaii. Yeah, they were. I believe he was raised in Hawaii. So I don't know how that would have played out. A single white woman with two black children in Pitt County. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe not. But what I do know is that if you want to quote statistics, the majority of single mothers don't raise successful men. Um, and it's not even her doing the job most of the time of actually working, because she just doesn't have it in her to raise a man. Why? Because she's not a man. Now, I don't know what most of these other mothers had involved, but I can tell you from experience, uh, my so-called egg donor, she did not raise us. Okay, I basically watched the people, the grown-ups, the men that I was around here in Pitt County. Watched them. My grandfather, I hung around him a lot. My uncles who were in the military. That's how I ended up in the military, because I watched them and saw what they did, and I would mimic. Um, Even the winos on the dirt road, I watched I watched them. Um, but my egg donor, she had 5 boys, and she did not raise us at all. She did a terrible. She did she did. I can't even say she did a terrible job. She just did not do her job. I have an aunt. Her sister did a terrible job. Um, they were the only two. Their fathers would have a hand in it, um, or they saw the men and they followed them. But a lot of times, you'll have kids that are living in a single mother home, and they end up, it's a large percentage of them end up in jail. And I'm speaking of black. I'm not really speaking of whites or Asians or anything like that. They have their issues, but I can tell you this: in most black homes, yeah, most times they end up in jail, or they end up alternative lifestyle and everything, or not successful at all. Not even successful as a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, success come in different ways, but they usually don't turn out too well. Michael Jackson, you think about it, the Jacksons, I don't think they would have been as popular as good as were if it wasn't for Joe. Joe um, was the man. I mean, he was gold. He's what all men are. Men are, and I said men. I'm not taking the word lightly. I'm not talking about men that you know are live. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about males. I'm talking about men. Um, they're goal oriented and everything. It's all about the goal. And mothers are what you call nurturers. They're the nurturers. Michael would, Joe would make Michael and them boys go out there to that studio and play those instruments and sing and do everything for Barry Gordy. And they didn't go outside and play. And if they messed up, Joe was standing right there behind Barry, ready to go off on them boys. But when they got home, there was mama. They would go to
Yep.
Catherine, and she go up there, and she
Yep.
she give them the hugs and kisses and kiss the boo boos and whatever else that need to be done. That's the job. But um, my opinion, no, I don't believe that. I do believe that a single father at that would have better success, because he's not all that emotional. And I'm talking about black fathers. He's not all that emotional when it comes to dealing with children. He's about, hey, look, you need to go in there and brush your teeth and do your hair before, and get your clothes and stuff done before that. You need to have your clothes out and ready before school. Everything is planned. There is no a whole lot of smiles, and there's not a whole lot of hugs and kisses and everything. And those kids end up becoming the ones with jobs and money and stuff. And if they missed out on the hugs and the kisses and stuff like that, well, go seek therapy. They got the money for it. But would you rather have that, or would you rather have your kid in jail because mommy hugged him and kissed him all the time, and did not pushed them to do what they needed to do, which was get your homework done on time. Go do this. Oh, get this done. Or mommy coming out there to the to the boy or girl's protection every single time something happens. You know, so
You're serious.
very, very serious.
I get it. I get it.
Houston? Go ahead, Houston.
I'm
'cause
trying to get
I'm
behind
gonna
the
need a
scene. You
minute.
guys run this show. No. You don't
Okay.
get a minute.
First
I
of
need you to
all,
just think about it and jump right in. Jump right in.
first of all,
And think about it now. I'm gonna say this. Don't go by just your feeling. Think about it.
I'm not going by just my feelings. Not going by my feelings.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going by what I know,
Uh-huh.
what I've seen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't about feelings. I mean, my feelings are in it because I have seen women. You cannot discount single mothers. You cannot say single mothers do not raise successful men. You can't say, I mean, you can say some may not.
Mm-hmm.
The same way a child can come from a 2-parent household and be a crackhead, a drug dealer, a pedophile, or whatever else vagrant that you can see on the street. You cannot say women cannot raise successful men because they do. Okay. 2, Joe Jackson was basically a dictator in his house. Run your household like you want. Okay. And it also depends on your measure of success. Would the majority of people think that the Jacksons were successful? Probably. But you had so many secrets. You had so many scandals. You had so much isolation to where Michael wanted to be away from his family so bad he bought a freaking ranch in a whole nother state, hundreds of miles away, and isolated himself. So as much money as he had, this man was not happy. And you had, was it Jermaine sleeping with Randy's wife? And now his nieces are his stepkids or something to that effect. I mean, you have to really measure what you think success is. And if that authoritative figure or the way he ran his household turned out those particular kind of people, really wasn't successful. If all you wanted was money, regardless of how your children turned out, then yeah, you can say that was successful. But I know women who have raised sons who are doctors, lawyers, they are managers at Walmart, they have regular, ordinary paying jobs that they take care of their family. I personally think that's successful. So when he was saying, that he don't think women, they become, alternative lifestyle. I know people that come from 2-parent households who are gay. Magic Johnson's son is gay. And he was raised with his mother and his father. He was raised in a rich environment and he still is gay. So, I mean, what do you measure success by? But he has a successful career. He has money in his own right. So, again, what's successful? And Houston, I think you're frozen. Can you hear me? Or are you still frozen? I see you move 1 minute and then you stop. Are you there? I think Maurice dropped out.
Can you hear me though? Can you hear me at all?
Can you hear me? I hear you. I can hear you.
There we go. All right.
Can you hear?
Oh, he went out again. Did you cut him off, Houston? There you go.
There we go. Yeah. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
You didn't hear nothing I said then, did you?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Okay.
You was wondering. Okay. Well, you know, the
there's
the
exceptions to
thing about
every
it is-
rule.
well, I will say this. I will say this. There may be some mothers out there that have raised some that were able to raise a child without a dad in the home, but it wasn't that she
Is he losing connection or something? Houston. Seems like he's losing connection.
Ursula,
Yeah,
can you hear me at all?
I can hear you. I can't. I mean, you're not moving, but I can hear you.
I think so.
It looks like he just keeps losing connection or something. Is that what the deal is? I think I can hear you. I think hear something.
So since you're doing fine,
Huh?
Ursula, you take over and keep talking. See if we can get people to join on the show.
What happened to Maurice? Was he not able to join back in?
Yeah, can you keep going with the show? Talk with people. Let me see if I can join it out. You just have
Okay, well, while Houston figures out what's going on with the live stream, I guess we're having some kind of technical difficulties tonight. But no, we were just talking about successful mothers, and I actually have a couple of examples. Hold on a second. Hold on. I was looking up a lot of stuff on Facebook this afternoon. I was looking, just researching a lot of stuff, and there are so many successful men, not just black men. This is not just a black or white issue. But we're talking about successful men, period, of all different genres, different backgrounds, different, economic levels. Hold on a second. And so, of course, we talked earlier about the number one person that comes to mind is Barack Obama, who was our 44th president, this is a black man raised by a single white mother. The hurdles that she had to come through. Oh, I see you now, Houston. The hurdles that she alone had to endure to raise not only a black male, but to put enough in him, to instill enough in him to become the 44th president. And then you had people like, what was it? Bill Clinton, raised by a single mom. You had LeBron James. Of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, his dad just recently died a couple years back, but he actually was raised by his mom because they weren't together. Eminem, of course, he was, he's white, but he came from the rough side of the track. So, of course, he was raised by a single mom. Based on his career, I mean, you can see his lifestyle because of what he raps about. But like you say, when you talk about successful, people have a different level of success that they're talking about. So you can't just say,
Now, are you able to hear me or see me?
I can see you. I've been seeing you for the last couple minutes. You had to switch to your phone?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Evidently this MacBook is not functioning very well.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Well,
I
it's
guess
not
once
even a
we able,
MacBook. I don't know what it is.
now you're frozen. Your voice is fine. Oh, there you go. Okay. But you have people, we know we talk about successful men raised by single moms. Jay-Z, Michael Phelps, the fastest swimmer in the world, raised by a single
Hmm.
mom. Kevin
Hmm.
Durant, who has a
Right.
serious work ethic when it comes to basketball. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I know he probably
Right.
had coaches in his life, but his
Right.
coaches were there what during practice, only during basketball season.
I hear
His
you.
mother,
Okay, so let me say this.
go ahead.
Right. Yeah, no,
What
no.
happened?
Look, we can pull out. It may go in and out. Maybe hopefully the voice part works fine for us,
Hmm.
and we got to figure out why it's doing it because for whatever reason we was up here.
You cut
Um,
off.
and now with me being on the phone, it should be okay, but I'm not quite sure why it's not.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not quite sure. But let me say this: we know that mothers can do a great job raising kids. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's boy or girl, um, we know they can do a great job. Here we go. Let's see, add the stage.
All right.
All right. So we know that yeah, mothers can do a great job. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything negative about any single mom because single moms do what they can do and they do a great job at it. At the same time, what we're saying is that if there is a choice for the kid to be raised by,
Your voice cut out.
He froze.
Yeah, you froze, Houston. Well, until he comes back,
of
I'm thinking.
doing things in the,
Okay, go ahead,
so what
Houston.
now?
You
Yeah,
cut out. Go ahead.
doing certain things. That what we're looking at is just the statistics. They're showing that. They're showing that, you know what? When boys are raised by their father or the father is in the picture, they have a much better chance of not going to jail, not having certain things happen. So I'm not saying that the mothers aren't doing a good job. I'm just saying statistically, they have been tracking this for years and
Yeah,
they show
your voice
Froze
cut out
again.
again.
the fathers involved. Because sometimes,
You keep cutting out.
you know, young boys are always going to have this testosterone that they're always going through,
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
they won't test it quite as much. They won't test it quite as much with a father in the home or being raised by the father. That's the
Hmm.
only thing that I'm saying. They just have a better chance of not getting in trouble.
Now I totally understand that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I totally understand that, and I think that's absolutely true. I think a
Okay.
child having both parents in the home does curb a lot of the foolishness that could come about from having a single parent. Okay, but
Right.
the
Right.
same thing goes for men who have to raise girls by themselves.
Hmm.
Girls can be very manipulative,
Right.
and daddy's princesses get away with murder even when they're in the home.
Right.
So, like
Well,
with my daughter, she has her dad wrapped around her finger. So the stuff that
I
I
get
would say,
that.
absolutely not, you're not going. I can know. I already see because I see what I would have done. Not happening. And he would be like, "Well,
Right.
you can't keep her. You can't keep her in the house. You can't. What you know? No, 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 no. No, she's not going." So I get it. It's
Right.
both ways. I think it should be better with both parents in the home,
Right.
but I believe the same way that successful women can raise successful men, they can. the same way men can raise.
Nobody's saying that they can't. Nobody's saying that they can't because you
No, I never. Go ahead.
were raised by single parents.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when they go back and they really talk with other people,
Mm-hmm.
they either had an uncle, they either had a grandfather, they had a coach, they had someone that they looked up to as a man. Because what with young boys, what happened is every once in a while, another man need to come up to him and tell him, "You need to stop this mess that you're doing," or certain things that are going on with you.
All right, good. I think I had to move closer
Yeah,
to my router.
There you go.
I got you.
All right.
I think you know what? You know what? That might be the case because I'm in a different section of the house instead of the studio tonight.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to host this, so that might be what the problem is. I'm probably
Yep.
uh,
There go Ursula.
probably 200 yards, 50 yards
Mm.
away
What
from it.
happened? Can you see me?
So Ursula,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you see
So
me?
Ursula, yes, we see you.
I can't see myself.
Okay, we can hear you though. You
Yep.
might pop back in. You might pop back in. Um,
You going through the same thing
the
we
things
going
that we're
through.
trying, you know, the thing that
So
we're trying to say, or the subject matter that we're trying to bring up, one thing, the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is because if it shows that kids raised by their dad are least likely to go to jail or least likely to get in trouble, have better grades. They show all this stuff that they've been tracking for a long time, showing that, wow, you know, if there is something about a dad being involved in a son or daughter's life that makes a difference.
yeah.
They've been tracking this. So that's something that we need to start looking at. Some of these parents, the dad may need to be more involved, you know, and be more involved in this kid's life. That's what I think the conversation that you and I are trying to have, Maurice, is just letting people know. The statistics kind of show that having the dad involved makes a major difference.
It does. Because you hear a lot of guys. I've dealt with a lot of guys when I was a cop. They come from a single mother home. Their dad wasn't around or their dad wasn't there. And then I've dealt with those who did have who were raised by a single dad. I think that a single dad raising the kids. In fact, you know what? The drive this there was a TV show years ago, back in the early '80s, about a black father who, and only, I think they only showed the pilot, but then ABC took it off the air because they didn't want people to see the success of it. But there was a black father that had all these children. Their mother had died, and so they left Detroit and went to either Detroit or Chicago and went to California. And I can't think of the name of it right off, but you can't even I can't even find it on Tubi. You can't even find it there, or even a segment on YouTube. But I think they only showed like the pilot, and then after that they didn't show it no more. It was alongside of Eight is Enough, sort of kind of put you in that mind frame. But the mother had passed away and the father was raising the children. It was all black cast. um
Mhm.
but
What
uh
was the name of this movie?
it's a TV. It was an old TV series from the early '80s, from 1980 or 1981. I'm gonna find it, and the next show
What happened?
will.
Tell me what was about. And I can tell you what it was.
Okay, so it was about a black family. The mother had died, and so the father was taking care of them. Matter of fact, it was a movie first, and then it became a TV series. But they only filmed the pilot, and it only aired one time. And after that, no one ever heard from it again. Nobody even heard the name of it. The actor, the guy that played The guy that played the father was the guy that played Slade on I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
Okay.
He played the dad. And if I could find the name of it, then yeah, I would do it. But I'm away from my computer now because I need to be close to my router. So I wouldn't be able to do it. But I think there's more success with a single father raising children, along with a father and having both parents in, than with a single mother, because the facts are just there. When you just have a single mother raising these children, the majority of them are going to prison. The majority of them do not finish high school. The majority of them do not even finish college. And they do have a record of some sort in between the time that they're 15 and 40 years old. Sad to say, but that's just how it is. The statistics are not going to lie on that. And then to experience, like I said, there are 5 boys, and I always talk about myself, to make sure, I'm talking about me first before I talk about anybody else. But there are 5 boys that grew up in the household that we lived in. I've never been to jail. Um, my The one after me, he never went to jail, but the one after him got in trouble with the police, and he was mama's baby, the one she nourished the most, the one that she loved the most.
See, you're
And then the
confused.
two
You're
and then the two
confusing
after
though.
and then the 2 boys after that, one of them got in trouble with went to jail, but the one after him did not.
But wait,
So
you're confusing. No, you're confusing when a mother babies and coddles and all this other stuff. I'm talking about a woman raising children. Raising children. Like there's a big difference than having children, having your favorites, and doing
I do
it
agree.
back and forth. I'm
That I
talking about
agree.
I'm talking about a parent, number one,
A
who
woman actually doing the job.
okay, but then you also said that men can raise children better.
Yes, they can.
Okay, so now you got that statistically, right?
Yeah,
So
Yes.
statistics.
Yes.
wait. So
Yes.
please tell me if that's the case,
Yeah.
It
why
is.
there's so
It is the
many
case.
empty family homes with no father. If they can do
Because
Well,
it
we
the
so
can.
well,
system.
no,
Oh,
wait,
that's an
listen,
easy.
wait.
That's an easy
If they
one.
can do
No,
it
I'm getting
so
ready to answer
well,
it.
wait, if they can do it so well, why
Okay, let me.
isn't it being done?
Okay, why is it not being done?
No, yeah, why is it not being done?
Okay, well, for starters, let's look at it how it is. The government is involved with our
So wait,
families.
okay,
No, no,
okay, I'm
you're wait a
stopping
minute.
you.
I'm getting to the good parts. Plus, plus the system will award the children to the mother before awarding it to a father any day. That's just the
Yep.
facts.
That's statistics.
Yeah, statistics, and I can tell you now, you can have some of the best fathers in the world, and the mother is just not on it. But because she's a woman, the system gives it to her, sometimes regardless of what she does, unless it's really bad, or unless
I'm
that
not
father got a good lawyer. You
I'm
know,
not saying that stuff is not true. Not saying that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. But what I'm saying is you keep when you talk about it's as if you think men are the be all end all,
well,
that they can
yeah.
raise children better, that they can run households better, that you know they're better parents. I mean, you first of all,
Okay, women don't go
men
out. Women do not go out here actively. Okay, to get a family, to get a man, to get children. That's what men
who
do.
said
Men
that?
go out. Men go out to get the family. He's the one that initiates everything.
So what does the
Because
woman
are
do?
you telling me that you go initially look for a man and say, "Hey, look, I want you. Let's hook up sometime because I want you to be my husband and I want us to have kids." No, women don't do that. But
Let's be
men
very clear. Let's be very clear
but
about something.
men are the ones that go out here and get the job.
Let's be very clear about something. Number one, in Houston, he asked me. He said me. So I'm going to give you my opinion. okay, about me. There is not a guy but one. There's only one. There's not a guy that I have not dated, like intentionally dated, that I did not think was husband material. I'm not gonna date you. I'm not gonna date you just to be dating somebody, to hook up, to have sex, to go to the movies, go to dinner. There has to be an end game.
Right.
That's
right.
You're telling me that's what you what you did.
I'm not. I've never just randomly dated somebody just because.
Well, what fun did you have?
Oh, I'm sorry. Once.
Okay, if let me tell you, I never dated a woman to have a family. Okay, to have kids and the whole thing. I didn't do that. It was casual sex for me. You know, I just wanted to get with them and have sex and then move on. It was not to build a family. Eventually, that happened and everything. Now there was one girl.
What I'm saying is, most women grow up with the notion of marrying someone, having children, having a family, doing the same things that their parents did, and to just, you know, have that lifestyle, which is what I did.
You talking about the fairy tale? We talked about that before. You talking about the fairy tale?
I mean, you can call it what you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's not always a fairy tale, but I would go through every single pain, heartache, disappointment, or whatever I have done previously, if it meant getting the 2 children that I have right now. I wouldn't change a thing. However,
go back to before you had them.
Exactly.
You know, go back to before you had them, before you met their father or anything, anything like that. You know, what about back then? Were you like that then?
What you mean?
Well, I want to have a family and I want to do this.
When Derek and I dated, you could not tell me that Derek and I were not going to get married, have a couple of kids. Okay.
Right.
And so that's why I was so devastated when we broke up. Okay. I dated guys after that I knew were great men, who I see now who are great men. For whatever reason, we didn't work out. Okay.
Why didn't it work out?
Well,
come on. For a minute, I thought I got put back in the backstage.
Oh.
I was like, come on, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna say, well, one, we both chose the same path that took us in different paths. So the others, just life, just never. It wasn't that, I mean, now, and they could all tell you, and I've said this before on the show, I am not perfect by no means at all, but I never did anything to cause a relationship of mine to fail.
Right.
Because I'm just not that. And I've always said, it won't be today, tomorrow, next year, or whatever. But one day you're going to say, dang, should have kept her.
Now that's as far as you know,
right? So let me say this. Let me jump
I have not had one yet that did not say that. Not one. Not one of them.
And you probably never will.
You won't.
Yeah,
you won't.
You probably never will.
Because who would ever tell someone that?
Yeah.
No, but wait. I never asked though.
No. You don't have to ask. You don't have to ask. I'm not saying that you're not right. The conversation that we've had with you week in and week out, we know the caliber of person that you are. That's why I'm always telling you to take yourself out of the equation.
But I can't.
It's because yes, you can.
Well, when you know why that I have not been a part of, then yes. But
now what we're trying to do is the reason why we like to have you as the host is because I need you to start doing some research and see some of these other. Look, no, you can be on the panel, but then also we need that's why we need other women, but we need women that's going to be honest. Now, don't get me wrong, we're going to talk about men too, because every time we have these conversations, the first thing that come out of people's mouths is, well, what about the men? We're talking about a certain subject right now. We just said both men and women,
Mhm.
but you have always made it very clear that you're a family oriented type person.
Yes.
There are now you can't tell me, and you like just because the friends that you hang around, maybe you didn't see this, but you can't tell me that you don't see other people or other women that do not have the same caliber and drive that you do.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if you see that, that's what we are addressing. We're not addressing the women that are interested in having marriage or being in a relationship in the whole nine. We're not addressing those women. We're talking about the other ones that you know of. The same way that when I say that it makes no sense for a man to go out here and have 4 or 5 babies by three or four baby mamas, but you ain't taking care of none of your kids,
None
or
of
you
them.
take, or you taking care of just the one that you really like
Or the
because you
one
really
you want
want
to
to
go
get
back and hit.
right, or the one you want to go back and hit.
Yeah.
So it's the same way that we're talking about those guys. Um, men, men, we call that stuff out. Y'all may not see it. We call it out at the barbershop. We
Oh, we
call
do
guys out.
too. We do too. I mean,
Y'all,
let me
wait,
tell
wait.
you
So
something. I
let me
see
ask you
women.
something. Let me
Go
ask
ahead.
you.
Go
Now,
ahead.
do y'all call it now? You may call it out, and some of the people you're around. Do you guys call it out, or y'all wait till she leave the beauty salon? To my Lord have mercy. Did she say that she got
Well,
5 kids?
It depends. It
And did
depends
she
on what she
say
was
it
talking about.
depends.
No, no,
right, 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 right?
I'm not gonna embarrass anybody. I'm not going to disrespect anybody, but you can't ask
That's
for
the
my
problem.
opinion and get mad about it.
Right, but that's where the problem comes in. We the men we starting to address these other guys like growing up and say,
Yep.
okay, look, you see so and so over here. You see how he 28 and he got 4 kids. You don't need to do that kind of mess. Don't you
No.
do that? You know
I
what I'm
would
saying? No,
that
no,
to
no.
have a woman to have
That's what we
that's
do to
like
men though.
but that's like having my daughter with me who was 15.
Hmm.
Dang, 15. To have my daughter who was 15 and I go into the salon and I see a woman sitting there single with 4 kids.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna go to her, look at her and say, look, now she ain't got no man, she got 4 kids. That's not what you want to do. I wouldn't do that because I'm not gonna disrespect. I don't know her situation. It could be she
Right.
got 4 kids and her husband just died. You don't
But
know.
you know
I don't
what?
know what her situation is.
Here's the thing. If you had 10 women, now I'm gonna get on the men as well. But if you had 10 women sitting in the health department, and I'm not gonna say that because it make it sound bad. 10 women sitting at the mall, and all 10 of the women had 5 kids, and nobody had a wedding ring on. And you
Mm-hmm.
knew they were all by different baby fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the 10, how many of them would you say possibly husband passed?
Not sure. I mean, it could be husband just left. Husband cheated and left the family. See, that's what I'm saying.
Or
See,
You
what
have
if
to be
she?
right, right, right,
careful.
What if she
You
right,
cheated?
right,
have
What
to
if
be
she cheated?
careful about other people's
right,
situations
right,
because
right.
here I am. I have 2 kids.
Yeah, but
I
what
I'm
if
get
currently
it.
she?
I'm currently still married, but I'm
Hmm.
separated.
Right.
So for a man to come at me in the mall and be like, "Oh, she got 2 kids," and you don't know that one I raised 5 along with the brother and sister, and now I'm raising mine. So you don't know everybody's story. So I don't judge anybody. Now I do know women who have 5 different baby daddies,
Hmm.
ain't never been married,
Hmm.
always been on assistance,
Hmm.
ain't never worked.
Right.
Now do I call? Yeah, I call you out,
And
but
so
I
what
don't.
I'm, but
If I
see,
don't
but
know
here,
you,
but
I'm
here's
not
the
gonna
thing.
assume, huh?
You're not going to assume. A lot of times, women don't assume when it comes to women. They will hold each other up. They were. I'm
Of
not saying that you're
course.
supposed to be. I'm not saying you're supposed to be negative to them, but you guys will hold each other up. You will go to the baby shower when you know she just. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just giving you examples.
Hmm.
When you know she just had a child last year, and then she's pregnant again by someone else. Y'all still gonna throw her another baby shower, and y'all going to continue throwing the baby showers instead of somebody saying, okay, look, baby girl, you just doing way too much. I understand these men are nice and they look good. We got to start working with you about getting some protection. We
Okay.
got to help you with this.
Yep.
So now, and the reason
Right.
why I'm saying that is
Yep.
because we have to do the same thing with the guys.
But
Yep.
we do that. We don't just go throw that. I don't go to everybody baby shower. You done had 4 and 5 kids. You don't need a baby shower because that's what you got hand-me-downs for.
Now, what did we
The
just
gift
say?
is a
We just
gift. A
we just
gift.
stipulated how when we have these conversations, we always know that how you're going to do. We're just saying other people that you
And I do
see.
women, but you know what? At the same time, and let me address it the way you're talking about.
Okay.
Everybody makes mistakes. Some people make more than others. Okay.
Right. Right.
But when you're talking about upholding somebody, there's a difference between supporting women and holding them accountable. I can hold you accountable and still support you. I can still be there for you, because when you start turning your back on them and saying, look, you know what, you just keep having babies. Look, you need to do something with that. You need to, you need to do better. She gets that. There's no woman out here who has multiple baby daddies who don't realize, you know what, this is ridiculous.
I'm not. Look,
Hey, look.
sometimes
Unless
that
each child comes
comes.
with a big check from somebody who got some money.
There you go. It's all
See,
about money, and it's
well,
about money, and
it's still about money
it's money
because
itself. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. I mean, I don't mean to cut you off either. One thing I'm trying to do is this. I'm not trying to say that anybody's perfect. I'm not knocking any women. All I'm saying is that we don't hold each other accountable.
That's right.
With men, when he gets accountable, that don't mean he gonna stop. But as soon as that child support start coming out of his check,
That's us holding them
he
accountable.
he's been held accountable by the
That's
state.
her holding him accountable.
No, that's
No,
not her
no,
holding her. No, that's
that's
not her.
us.
That's the
The
No,
state.
court holding him
that's
accountable,
That's the
that's
court
you.
holding him accountable.
Listen,
not other men.
That's
listen,
men. That's men because that's the law that a lot of men got involved
Ursula.
with and
Wait a minute.
passed.
Wait a minute. That is you, Houston, myself, holding that man accountable.
How?
We pay taxes. We
Yep.
follow the law. It's true. We follow the laws of the land. Okay. So we pay the taxes where we make sure that these guys pay the child support. Okay. And not only that, we paying some of that child support too. But nonetheless, we're holding that dude accountable for that. But where the
So
mothers come in? Where the mothers come
wait,
in?
you just said that people who pay taxes hold them accountable. That's men and women.
He said
Exactly.
you. He
So
said
Holding the
you.
man
men and women
He
are
accountable.
said
holding them
you.
accountable. Now finish what you was getting ready to say.
Now, what about the women? Where are we holding them accountable at? How are we holding them accountable?
Wait, but you just said that you pay the taxes, which means you have elected officials
Right.
that you elected into office
Yes.
who are not holding these women accountable. Because
Exactly.
I'm the first one to
It-
say, there is no reason for a woman to have multiple kids, getting a multiple check, and not being able to work.
yes,
Right.
Not one reason.
as well as telling them to keep their legs closed
The same
and
the same
everything.
way she
They
can
need to
open
be.
them to have another baby. She can
Yeah.
put them side by
So
side to walk to work.
exactly, and that is, and even with that, we do tell other people, other guys, single fathers are on their sons, those who are raising their sons. Hey, look, man, this is the outcome if you do this. Majority of the time, that's not being told to a son in a single mother's household.
Yeah,
That's
Right.
yes,
usually
it
not
is.
being pushed. Why? Because they're being pushed. The only thing that's being pushed them is usually it's just Christianity or
No. You can't say
yes,
that because
yes,
one,
church,
and I know you were
church,
talking about
yes,
Ursula. I
It's
do it.
only thing that's being
I
listen in a
have
single
cousins
mother
who do
home,
it.
in a black single mother home, church is pushed, okay? But they're not being told all the things that they need to know, okay, as far as how the world works,
Who said
boys
that?
and girls.
Who
So that
said
single,
that?
no, that's just a fact.
No,
I've
it's
seen it.
not. No,
I've
it's
seen it.
not.
I'm telling you, I've seen it
You've
numerous
seen
times.
it. You haven't
Yes,
seen everything. You've seen that, but you can't. But
yes.
you haven't seen every household. Do I push Christianity in
No,
my household? Absolutely.
no, I
Do
didn't
I
say.
push abstinence in my household? Absolutely. Do I know if one of the other is not right? Okay, well, you need to protect yourself. Okay,
Mhm.
you want to see what that's
But
like?
you're not doing it by yourself. You're not raising those children by yourself. You got a man there that you got a man in the same town that helps you. You are
In the
not
same
doing that by
town,
yourself.
in the
Okay?
same town, not the same household.
Does he
It
come
doesn't
over?
necessarily have
I
to be in the
no,
same
He doesn't
household.
have to
wait.
live there, but he
Let
doesn't
me
It
have to
doesn't
listen.
have to
live
be in the
there.
same household.
I love James. I really do.
He doesn't
Okay.
have to
But
live there.
wait. I am when those kids are with me, and
Hmm.
he will tell you,
Hmm.
does he come over here and assert authority? And then of course he does. But those
Okay.
children are with those children are with me almost 95% of their time. He has a fraction of that. So you can't sit here. No, what they were raised on was what I believe. I push those things in my household. My daughter, she just, I tell her, look, let
Christianity
me
is
tell
one
you
of
what
them,
life
right?
is like by having a baby at a young age.
Uh-huh.
I go grab my granddaughter, bring
Hmm.
her down here. I fell sick last week, which is why come you guys didn't really hear a lot from me.
Hmm.
She had to take care of that baby every single day. A 1-year-old,
Right.
diapers, feeding, up at 6 a.m., the whole
Mm-hmm.
nine. She's like, Mom, I'm tired. Hey, let me tell you something. This is what you have to do if you're not practicing abstinence or you're not protecting yourself out here with these boys. And guess what?
Right.
The same way you're sitting here by yourself with your niece right now
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
the same way you're going to be if you go out here and get pregnant by one of these knuckleheads because they're not going to do anything.
Yeah,
Right.
if you're teaching that, then that's good.
But,
Okay. But
but
I'm saying but we're saying still statistically, okay, single mom raising children. Those children, they have they're heading to jail or not
that
graduating
is
or
so,
whatever. They're not successful. That's just the way it is.
that's not
But
true.
a single father raising children have statistically have moved on to higher heights, as
You,
well as
you,
as well as okay, a two parent home, single father, they're in the same they're in the same
okay.
number
Let me,
versus a single mom.
let me reiterate what you just said.
Okay.
Men statistically raise children better.
Yes.
Then comes the two-parent household. Then comes the single mother household. However, the
Yeah.
single mother household is because the men are not raising their children, which is why there's no two-parent households. So I tell you this, who's the problem?
Well, the parents are basically mom and dad,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
ultimately, and everything. What I was saying was I didn't mean to put in that level that I said before. Double parent, you got two parents in the household. Yeah, that child has an awesome chance of being raised correctly and growing. Not all the time that happens, but a good majority of time it does.
Right.
Never said that
Then
wasn't
comes
Ursula.
true.
single dad. Then comes the single dad. Okay,
Right.
he is definitely on it, and he doesn't have the help that a single mom has. Okay, single mothers have all the help in the world, but single fathers, they're doing this crap by themselves because guess what? They got to raise the children and everything, but they also got to deal with the crap that's out here. That's out here as far as the job, as the world is concerned. And if he's a black man, oh, forget about it. It's a wonder he's even surviving. But if he makes it, and those kids make it through high school and college, hey, I think you. how can you deny it? And when
You
you look at
know, you know what?
the numbers prove it and everything, as well as I'm sitting here a statistic, okay, of a single woman, okay, attempting to raise 5 boys. She couldn't even raise one, and she kept having children with different men. Okay,
Right, right,
so I had to um take care, like I told you before in the last interview, I had to raise her children that I didn't ask for. That's not fair. Luckily for me, I didn't go to jail. The boy after me didn't go to jail. The one after him and the one after him did, but the youngest one didn't. So what
right,
is it? 2 out of 5 ain't bad.
right,
There
right.
are 10 million single mothers in the United States.
Yep,
There's only 5 million single fathers. I mean, I'm sorry,
yep,
2.5 million single dads.
Mhm.
right. And you know why that's the case? Is because if he goes to court to try to get custody of his kids, there's an 85% chance that it will not happen. All things being equal, it will not happen. Even if he wants his
But
kids.
but okay, so give me the statistic of how many single dads actually try to, since you talking about statistics, I need that statistic.
Well, we can look that up and we can have that. Make sure we bring it back to the show because
I need to know, because if you're going to come with statistics, I need to know that, because
Oh,
we'll see.
I know plenty of fathers who want to just be there
Mm-hmm.
and be a dad,
Mm-hmm.
but don't want the responsibility of being a father.
okay, okay. How about this? Okay, you get a man and a woman that break up. Okay, so he wants the children. He's a good father, and we don't know what she is. She may be a half and half. Who knows? But he wants custody of his children, so he fights for it. Okay. Well, he's working. All right, and I'll even throw in there that she's working. All right, both of them go to court.
You throw it like it's an option. Most single mothers do work.
Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, she works. All right, he works. He wants custody of his children, so he go to court with that. She's going to court. Okay, like he says, the percentages he's not going to. It's a possibility he's not going to get them. A large possibility. Most times you go into court to fight custody for your child. Man, it's almost a laughing matter. The judge has already made up their mind. So he now loses the
It's
case.
not a 50
Now
50. It's not a
he
50-50. But go ahead.
he done lost. He loses the case. Okay, to where she gets custody, but he has visitation rights, and of course he pays the child support, and of course he has to he gets the child weekends no, every other weekend, every other holiday. Okay, so he's heartbroken. It is not a feel good situation when he loses that. Because if he was such a good father, then she should have been like, well, you know what? He's a good dad. Let him take care of it. After all, I'm working. I always complained about, working and then had to come home and take care of the house and then take care of the kids and then give him his time when he needed. I've always complained about that. Maybe I need some time for myself and let him have the children, and I will, go to work, come home. I just deal with me and see the kids every other weekend, every other holiday. I'll just have to pay him the child support. But the majority of the time, that's not going to happen. But it is heartbreaking when a man loses the first time, and he doesn't want to go through that. He doesn't want to go through that. And when he sees other guys going through the same crap, and he had to nurse them, no, he don't want to. He don't want to. Most men don't want to fight
Let
it.
me tell you
So
something
they.
about single. Let me tell you something about mothers. Okay, if I lose my children,
Mm-hmm.
for whatever the case may be, it could be a judge who has a soft spot for men, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Most of the men that I've seen that got custody because they didn't want to pay child support,
Okay.
because they are so determined that woman's not going to get their money,
Mm-hmm.
and then they end up single fathers who let other women, their girlfriends, raise their children, not them, the girlfriends. Now, Two, I lose my children. The fight in me is not going to stop. I could give 2 cents. I'm trying to keep it constant. I can give 2 cents what your situation was when you went to court,
Right.
what her situation was, how many times she went and got disappointed, because I love my children.
Right.
So the judge gonna get tired of seeing me.
Right.
So I get men get disappointed. They did this and they get that. Okay.
I got an answer for you, but go ahead.
I get it. Okay. But giving up, most women ain't gonna go for that.
You know why most women? I'm gonna tell you why some women are not gonna go for that is because they want to keep fighting because they're not gonna want to pay child support.
And they're selfish because they're
not
even thinking women are selfish.
That's just some, because there's some that just will not. They like and two, it's more about I don't want some other woman around my kids. The same way that some men are, but a woman really don't want. Why you got another woman in the house staying with my kids and he's 7, he 8, and you got this woman laid up in the bed? Oh, she gonna take that to court.
Plus the selfishness of the situation. You know, women are quick to say my child, my this, my that. When did it become just your child? It's both of y'all. It should be ours, right? But no, it's mine. It's ours. It's my child.
That is true.
I'm gonna fight for my kid. I'm gonna do this. And then wait. Let me put this part in. And then to not even a thought as to what the child thinks. What if the child wants to stay with dad? What if but if you don't put into that child's head, I'm your mother, you supposed to be all about me, and that's it. It becomes a selfish thing.
Some women may do that. Most women don't.
Okay.
My children had an option. What you gonna do?
So let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. If the judge is sitting there looking at you and your child's father, and he looks at you and say, Ursula, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. And he goes, your son, if I can pretty much tell you right now, if your son stays with you, he's gonna be an okay kid. He's gonna be okay. But if I let your husband or his dad raise him, I can show you how he's gonna be an outstanding kid, great in the community, this, that, and the other. And he's going to go off and do great things. But you have to let him go live with his dad, which may be in the same city or in a different city. Can you deal with that?
No.
Selfish.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because no man sitting on a bench who doesn't know me, my husband, or my children can tell me with 100% certainty what my child is going to do or not do based on whether he stays with his father or me.
So let me ask you this. I just sat there and the way I laid it out, I said that he can show you. He said, look, wait. He's saying, look, I've done this 2,000 times. I've had these cases 2,000 times. And I followed it over the last 15, 20 years, that when the child is raised by the father, this happens. Statistically, like out of 100 kids, 85 of them turn out to be this. But when I send them with the mother, 85% of them usually end up with some sort of record or in trouble. Yours may be that other 15% that doesn't. But are you willing to take that chance just to keep him, or would you rather give him the best statistical chance of being what he needs in life by letting his dad raise him? Could you do that? Because that's a great opportunity for your son.
So I got a question.
Okay.
All right. As Maurice said when we first started this conversation, where would Barack Obama be right now if his mother let his father raise him?
We don't know because his father wasn't in the picture. Barack Obama is in that 15% that we just talked about. Michael Jackson
Exactly.
is in that 15%. Now, what about the other 85% that are not? How about the jails that are full of kids that if they did the math, they said that 85 to 90% of the people that are in prison were raised by single mothers.
Now, I will tell you this, and I will say this, and I will say this until I have no more breath in my body.
Okay.
Until no one can come to me, and I'm not putting anybody else in this situation, can come to me and say anything statistically about where my children should be to make their life, or they're going to do this way here. But if they don't know me, if they don't know their dad, if they don't know our lifestyle, where we come from, our families, and tell me what they're gonna do based on who they live with.
Okay.
Because the
Okay.
one thing, but see, the
But
one thing,
you've proven.
this is
But
just
you.
me. This is just
But
me,
you
and I'm
just
not talking
proven
about
the
other
point, though.
households. The
Right.
difference between me and a lot of other women is my kids were raised with me. Now, I consider myself a single mom, but James and I have a family. And he's never, ever been denied. He's always been present in everything that we do. We still go on vacations together. We still spend time with our kids together.
I get that.
This is what I'm saying. So if the judge tells me that, I wouldn't have to say anything. Because he's going to say, you know what? No.
Okay. So let me ask you this. No, let me say, I'm with you. I'm with you, brother. Let me say this. Okay, Ursula, your name is still Ursula Banks. James, or whoever, let's say whoever is over here, and he is making $150,000 a year. You guys have a child together, but you don't get married. But you do know that that's his child. You're going through a few things. You may be working and you may be making, $40,000 a year. It's rough out here. It's hard. It's difficult. And the judge say, look, because he's making this amount of money, I think he might be the better parent because he can give him the private school training. He can give him this, that, and the other. And statistically, he may have a better chance. I'm just asking you, could you consider letting your son be raised by his dad? See?
I can consider let my son being raised by his dad. If my son says, Mom, I want to go be with my dad, and he's at that adolescent age where he's growing into a man and he just wants to be around more testosterone. If that's what he chooses to do, then he can go and do it. But nobody's going to tell me that based on what this man has and what I don't have, that he's a better parent. So let's just take into consideration the fact that this woman has been fighting for her son for years. And now, because the judge let him go stay with his dad and his new stepmom, he is now a she. And that is Dwayne Wade's child.
So we're gonna pull one or two out of 10 million.
On the finances, this child would be better off with Dwayne Wade. He's married to Gabrielle Union. They have a family. Okay.
Right.
All the children went to live with him, all his 3-4 kids, whatever it was. Okay.
Right.
And then they had a daughter together. This is the youngest of his first marriage. His wife fought, went to court, sat outside the court on a cardboard box with a sign begging for her kid.
Right.
Judge gave the kid to Dwayne Wade because she was crazy. And he had all this money and he was remarried. But now that he is now a she.
Right.
And he's
he's letting a 12-year-old
boy,
Right.
12-year-old boy, decide that now he wants to be a girl.
Right.
But when the
So
judge
so
say
now
he,
so now you're saying that that was because he went to go live with his dad, or because that was the decision that wanted to make, and the dad let him make that decision.
both.
So you're saying that if he was still with his mom and that happened, he should have never been living with the mom.
No. I said the fact that the judge, because this is what he thought was better for the kid.
Hmm.
And so come I said, nobody can tell me about statistically what a person, a child should be with this person because they have more or this person has less. I think that's just the dumbest reason to split kids up. But the fact is, Maurice said that the man is more authoritative and he's like, Joe, and especially a man or whatever,
Right.
Joe Jackson and all this other stuff. Dwayne Wade, who was a legend on the basketball court,
Right.
allowed his 12-year-old son, with probably a little coddling from his wife Gabrielle. Don't get me wrong, I love her as an actress. The whole lifestyle, you got me missing with that one. But you allowed your child to decide they wanted to be something else.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate with you on this. So let's say if we went and did the research and find out that this son was feeling this way before he ever started living with Dwayne Wade.
Mm-hmm.
Does that change? Does that change anything?
The fact is, the mother made him. The mother raised him to be what he was born. Now, if you're gay, you're gay. That's you. I don't know what people were. I don't believe people were born that way. I believe it was a learned behavior, but that's just me. Okay.
Right.
And you can be gay. You can't stop somebody from being gay if that's what they want to do. I try to love everybody. However, as a mother, feeling the way that I do in the same way that she does, my son ain't gonna come and tell me at 12 he wants to get a surgery to change himself into a girl.
Right.
Because if you want to be, I'm sorry, and it's like, oh, well, it's not gay, it's trans, it's the same thing.
So let me ask you this. Okay, I follow what you're saying. So a lot of the single mothers that are out here that have the money and letting their kids change their sex, what's the difference? They were raised by their mother.
But see, and that's the whole point. You can't say who's the better parent based on what people have, because you got mothers doing the same thing with fathers saying, no, that we're not going to do that. But no, this is how they feel, so they should be able to express themselves. No.
So let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, Maurice. You can jump in anytime because I feel like I'm manipulating the conversation from you.
That's all right.
So when you go purchase a car, I'm gonna get to something. Most of the time, what do you drive right now?
Dodge Charger.
A Dodge Charger. What made you get that Dodge Charger?
I'm a muscle car girl.
But what makes it a muscle car?
I like the sound. I like the speed. I like the look, the body style.
And it's a V8. It's a strong engine, right?
Oh yeah.
Why didn't you get you a 4-cylinder?
I like the sound. I like the rumble under my butt.
I got you. But you can make a 4-cylinder sound the same way and still have that same rumble, right?
Nah, it's not.
Why?
No.
Why? Because
But I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
My neighbor across the street, I pulled in the house last weekend. They were having some little cookout or whatever. And he said, dang, them pipes sound good, girl. And I'm like, yeah. I said, I appreciate it. And he was like, what you do to it? Nothing. It's stock. It was made that way. I didn't have to change it. I bought it just as it was.
Right.
And I didn't change it. And I got exactly what I wanted.
And you got exactly what you want. Why? Because statistically, you already knew that a Dodge Charger was going to sound like it was with a V8 engine, and you knew that's what it was going to sound like. That's why you bought it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the same with statistics. It's the same thing. You go with you bought that car because you had already read up on it. You knew about it. You knew how well it was going to drive and what it was going to sound like.
No,
It's no different. It's no different with. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You knew about the Dodge Charger because you heard them before, or you rode in one, and you knew about what you were going to get.
I love Dodge Chargers for one reason and one reason only.
What's that?
Dukes of Hazzard.
I get it. I get it.
And that is the honest to
And it's
God.
still look, and it's
Hey,
still right back to the, and it's still back to the same thing. So you bought that Dodge Charger because statistically you knew it was gonna sound like you wanted, it was gonna ride like you wanted. Now
wait,
you could have bought a limit. You might could have got a limit. You
but
know, you
wait,
might could have got a bad one.
look, I could get the same speed, the same sound. You know, I had
Mhm.
a Challenger trying to roll with me today, and I'm like, bro, you don't want none. You know what I'm saying? I had a
Yeah.
Mustang come up beside me wanting to pace me. I'm like, bruh, look, I'm trying not to get a ticket. Leave me alone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got the Chevy. I'm sorry, the Camaros.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's so many, and I love Camaros too. My daughter wants one for
I
her
get
birthday.
it. I get it.
So
I get it.
it's not. Statistically, I could have went with any one of those to get what I wanted because honestly,
Right.
the Mustang sound louder than my car,
I get it. I get
but
it.
it was a preference of that particular vehicle. Now,
Right.
check this out. Dodge now has a electric car.
Right.
It sounds like bees in a dang can.
Right.
That is
It's
true.
I get
what
it. I
now
get
the
it.
body style is sick. The
Mhm.
body style is actually sick.
Right.
But I'm not gonna buy the new car. Statistically, it's faster, it's better on gas because it's like
Right.
supposed to be a hybrid or whatever. It's now electric, better for the
Right.
for the earth. But the sound is
Okay.
hard.
Okay. So let me say this. If I had a set of keys, your Dodge Charger, and I had a Honda Civic, and we're gonna race for $10,000, quarter mile, which one you gonna pick?
That's a trick question.
No, it's not.
Depends on what you've done to that Honda Civic. I
No,
ain't
no,
stuck.
no. It's stock. No, it's stock. It's a stock Honda
Oh,
Civic.
stop. Of course, I'm
It's
gonna go
stock.
with the Charger
Why?
because it's faster.
But why? Because it's going. Why? Because you think you're gonna win the race?
Yeah,
Do you think your chances of winning the race is so much better with the Dodge Charger than the Honda Civic?
yeah, because you're gonna say statistically, of course, yes.
That's exactly right. The
Yeah,
chances of you winning that race with that Dodge Charger is
but
so much better because
the
why?
difference
Why?
statistically is we're talking about man-built engines that are made to be one particular way. Humans are
Right.
not that way. Humans, statistically, you can't say all. I can say statistically, every Dodge Charger RT Hemi, which is what I have outside,
Mhm.
okay, is gonna
Mhm.
beat a Honda Civic. I don't care if it's stock and this is stock. It's statistically it's going to beat it 100% of the time.
No, not necessarily 100% of the time.
Same driver. I mean, I ain't talking about no little old lady in the Charger and you know and Vin Diesel in the Honda Civic.
Well, the reason why I say that is because there could be a chance that Honda Civic take off from the line and you take off, and for whatever reason something happened. You know, it just
Mechanically,
doesn't.
but see, that's mechanically something went
Right.
wrong. But
Right.
if
Something went
everything is
wrong.
mechanically sound, the
Right.
result is going to always be 100% Dodge Charger wins.
Right.
The
So if they've done research, and showed you that, hey, look, we're just saying when a boy is raised by his father, most of the time he turns out better by not going to jail. We're just showing you this. I'm not saying you, because you might be that one special, or 15 of you guys may be that one special. But the other 85 boys over here and girls raised by their father have a better chance in society. And that's just what it shows on paper.
And
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to you?
no, let me tell you why. Because when you're telling me that, I know that I fall into 15%. Now there are women out here who, regardless, the judge can see the future, but they either are mad at the dad, they are jealous of his life now with whoever he may have in his life now.
Right.
They may be bitter, mean spirited, whatever, you know what I'm saying, which they would opt for the downfall of their child, just so that the world won't say, I told you so.
Say that again.
They are so bitter and manipulative and evil or whatever, based on what the dad is now doing that he didn't do with her, that they would go for the downfall of their child, knowing this is what's going to happen, because they don't want the world to say, well, you know what, if he went with him, he would have did this. Because if she says, I'm going to let it all go and go with your dad, and he turns out successful, then she looks like the worst parent. He's the better.
I get it. Right. But you know what? And you're right. And I agree with you. And that's where the problem comes into play. Because some people do it that's selfish. Would you not say that she's selfish?
Yeah, she's very selfish.
And do you not think that's all we're trying to say is a lot of time there's a lot of selfishness going on. That's why some of these kids are in the situation they're in. The dad should have never gotten a woman pregnant.
Bingo.
To start with. Okay. Now that he has her pregnant, if he wants to take responsibility and try to raise that child better than her, she may not want him to do that.
No.
The same way that she shouldn't have laid down with him and had that child.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. Now, go ahead, Maurice. I'm sorry.
No, what Maurice said earlier. He said earlier about the fact that with me, I tried to date people who I thought would be mates for me.
Right.
Okay. And I don't give my energy to people who I feel like it's not a long haul kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So had I accidentally gotten pregnant back in the day,
right,
the men that I was dealing with, whether we ended up together or not,
right,
I knew would have been good dads.
Right.
Who
do you think that people choose
great dads
do you think a lot of people, men and women, make those kind of decisions now, or even in the past? Because we know people that had 3 or 4 kids before they were 21.
Online.
Right. I said because we know people that were 21 that had 4 kids, 3 kids by the time they're 21.
And that's the whole thing. Relationships now start online. There is no getting to know you. Before we even took it to a different level, I done been to your house. I done met your mom and dad. I know what kind of household you come from. I see what kind of house your mama keep. I see what kind of, you know what I'm saying? So you get to know people. You get to know what kind of family they come from. Are they a loving family? Do they hate each other? Do they, and you want to be involved in all that? So you can kind of dictate how your life goes. But now these kids are falling in love on Instagram from a video.
I'm just confused a little bit. It's funny. I mean, it's interesting, and I understand what you're saying. Let me go back to what we just said. If you knew your son was going to turn out to be an attorney and have a great life for himself if he's raised by his dad, and you knew that, hey, he might turn out to be, because I don't want to make it sound like he's down on any job, no matter if it's a mechanic or whatever else. He may turn out to be something totally different if he's raised by you, because, hey, we got this crystal ball to just show, hey, this is how things are going to turn out. This is just how it's going to turn out. We already see it because we saw the future. You wouldn't let him be raised by his dad if you knew that you could make that decision.
There was a possibility that I could see in the future and see that these are the paths that my son is going to take based on whether he's with me or with his dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I see that he can be not only successful,
Mm-hmm.
but happy,
Right.
a happy life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Would I let him go with his dad? Of course I would.
Right.
But we can't tell the future.
Right.
And I know that one, am I hard on my son? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like it because I'm like, to me, there's a life story in everything.
Right.
There's a lesson in every single thing that you do. And
Right.
he doesn't feel, he's like, I don't want to, this another lecture. Let me tell you something. I felt the same way about my dad. My dad, I could do one thing, and next thing I know, it's a 2-hour conversation about life.
But you know what? You know why you're doing such a great job is because you were raised in a two-parent household,
Mm-hmm.
or your dad was there. Now, I'm not knocking anything against your mom, because I'm just saying, if you've been raised and didn't have your dad there, the conversation may have been different.
Well, you know what, Houston, and I think people say that, but I also think it's based on that individual person, because I was
It,
never
it is. It
a
is.
mouthy child. I was
Right.
always respectful, and my mom didn't play them games. Period.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
she may be mother to church, and little she y'all see her like that. I know the woman behind the scene.
Right. Right.
So, but what I'm saying is, and I get it, I think all children should have a 2-parent household, which is why I let go of any animosity, anything that was
Right.
going on
Right.
between me and their dad. That
Right.
went out the window, because I think that their happiness, their foundation, the love that we share, that we show them, is way more important than what I feel I've been wronged, or
Okay.
the pettiness that I
So
might feel.
if you had to put it, let's say you had three categories, because it could be four. If we know that the household with two parents is number one, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would be number two? The household with the dad, or the household with the mother? What would be number two?
For me, it would be the household with the mother, but
Hmm.
I think it's imperative that these women who have children by these men, let these men be a part of their child's life,
No matter how they
because
feel about
regardless, I don't care. But and I, Shonda, thank you. The fact that Shonda, even in her interview, this man tried to kill her. But what did she say? He was a horrible husband. He was a great father.
them. He was a great father.
Now,
He
the
was a great
things that
father.
he did, as far as when the children was concerned, I think came after the accident, right?
Right.
But he was a great father. So a man could be a horrible husband, horrible boyfriend, but he could be a great dad.
That is very
Yeah,
true.
And so
but
when
wait a
you
minute.
let that,
Let me. I'm glad you
but
brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up, because when I heard her say that, um, I, I cringed. When she said that, oh, he was a bad husband, but a bad person, but he was a good father. But at the same time, he's trying to teach his children to talk bad about her folks. That
wait,
don't make
wait,
him.
wait,
That
wait,
doesn't
wait,
make.
wait.
Wait. Let me finish. That does not make him a good dad. Okay. When you start teaching negative aspects, and I'm talking against men, so you should enjoy this part. Okay, when a man when a man if a man if a man who has children, okay, is telling his children to do some of the most negative stuff, like hit your mom, or talk bad about your grandparents on your mama's side, or go up there and hit Johnny for no reason, and everything, and he'll give you his cookies every day. That does not make him a good dad.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's put it in context, though. If I'm not mistaken, Houston, this stuff started happening once he came home after the accident. Now, don't get me wrong. She said he was a great dad. Okay. But once he was not a great dad is when
She
she
left.
left.
Is when
Okay,
she
yeah,
left.
that makes sense. Yeah, that
You know what I'm
makes
saying?
sense
So, like I
because
said, if
yeah,
if as long as James is a great dad to my kids, shoot, as long as you're an okay dad and you're just doing, even if you're doing the events or just the child support and coming by once every weekend or once every month, as long as you're doing it and you're doing it within reason of you being a decent person and
Right.
you're not bringing any bad influence to my children,
hmm
Right.
you're going to always be welcome.
Right.
but he,
It's
But
when
see,
it's when you become detrimental to their well-being is when you got to go.
but what if the
and that's
mom?
for
Wait, wait a
you.
minute. But now, what if the mom is detrimental and she's got
She
full
needs to
custody
go.
of the kids?
There are
Exactly. There you
plenty of
go. All
women that
right,
I know. Let me
that
tell
goes
you,
both ways.
there's
But
plenty of
unfortunately,
women that
yeah.
I know who don't need to be moms.
Eh, there you go. True.
Plenty of them.
Yeah.
But
I,
and don't get me wrong, they're the way they are because someone hurt them so badly and they never ever recovered from it.
right.
I get it. I get it. But let me tell you, and it's different from everybody's different.
Do you think they need to let the
Personally,
child be with the father?
huh?
Do you think they need to let the child be with the father?
They do, yes. But now some
Do
of
you,
them, now wait, only a few of them. The other ones don't need to be with the daddy either. So it's like a lesser of two evils.
well, we can't say that because we can't predict the future. Remember, so we
True,
don't know how they would be with the dad
true, true.
because they never had an opportunity to be with the dad. Now, I heard a comedian say this, and I thought it was funny. He
hmm
said, "Look, I lived with my mom. I had a place to stay. I had food in the fridge, and she would always trying to tell me what to do. And then I said I want to go live with my dad, and I went to go live with my dad. And the refrigerator was empty. He would be gone until my now you can figure it out. His $6. He'd be gone for 3 or 4 days.
hmm
He hurry up and went back to his mom.
Yeah, yeah,
But because of the experience that he had with his dad, he realized, okay, I got to do better. I appreciate my mom, but he did say my dad won't work 2 cents when it come to raising me. But he showed me how to be a man because he showed me ain't nobody gonna give you nothing for free.
yeah.
And in a way, that's
You-
raising them. And in a way,
And it was
men, everybody has a different technique in raising their children,
right,
and that
right,
is a real good technique. People
right.
tripped on me for years uh, when it when it came to my son and everything.
You
Well,
need to
how come?
share.
Huh?
Anyway, go ahead.
How come you didn't? That's funny. How come you didn't get him a bike? He's 6 years old. I said, well, he doesn't deserve one. He hasn't done anything to deserve a bike. 7, he still hasn't deserved anything to get a bike. By the time he got to the car age, and it was like, well, actually 12, he was talking about, yeah, Dad, I want this car and everything. I says, you're only 12. He's like, wait, I'm talking about when I get 16. I says, well, what makes you? I said, you can get a car if you want to at the age of 16. I said, but you really want to get a job, you'll have to do that while you're in high school, and you need to learn how to, what it takes to keep a car and keep it running. The insurance is a lot involved and everything. He didn't want to follow those rules and regulations, so guess what? He didn't get. He didn't get no
Right.
car from me, and so
Right.
as he got older, he wanted to, because of his mother, wanted to blame everybody for his problems, his fault, his letdowns, his disappointments and everything. And he just kept going on and on and ad nauseum about how, oh, things are, Dad, you didn't do this for me, and Dad, you didn't do that for me. And I'm like, I've been teaching you all this time, dude. I says that you just not haven't been listening. Oh, but yeah, other dads give. I says, well, okay, you know how I told you that I'm not religious at all. I don't believe in Christianity, Islam, all that crap. I says I just don't follow it at all because it doesn't make sense to me. And he's like, well, yeah, and that's wrong. I said, but yet you believe in God and all that stuff, right? And he's like, yeah. I says, has he given you a car? Have you prayed to him and asked him for that? Has he given it
Mhm.
to you? Well, no. I says, try it and see what happens. You're not going to get it. I says, what you need to do is listen to what I'm telling you. Follow the knowledge. The knowledge is key. Just the materialistic aesthetics. You don't need me to just, this is not my job to just give you the things that you want, but it's to make sure you get the things that you need so that when you
Okay.
get out here into this world, you are prepared for it. He would not listen.
I will say this
He,
about that.
he, he, well, well,
Go ahead.
um,
Go ahead.
he would not listen at all. And as of today, he's now in more hot water than a little bit with two girls and has lost them both. Since the last time, now before, I think I told you guys
Don't be
when
telling his business.
no, this is they're my grandkids, and I keep it
Oh,
100. I keep it 100. The as before, I think I had told y'all, I said, well, he's out there in Cali, got the job, got the had the job, got the grandkid and everything and whatnot. And I was like, he's building. Well, I didn't know that he was really destroying it. And now he's destroyed it. He has
Right.
hurt. He is a bad father, a bad boyfriend. He's just a bad person and everything. And when I sit down and talk to his mom about it, all I get are excuses. Well, I no, and I saw the future. Now, most people say I can't see the future. I see it. Why? Because the future and the past is in front of us daily. Every minute, every hour, we see the past, we see the future and everything, but we don't seem to pay too much attention to it. We only looking for a certain specific thing to happen instead of putting the work in to make that happen. So it's sad when a mother has a child and she realizes, you know what, deep down inside, if I give the child to his father, even though me and the father don't get along because, well, him and I just ain't clicking like that, but he's a good dad. And I know that he will take care of him and everything, and the kid would be raised up right. It hurts, I'm sure, to pass it on, to pass that child. It hurt me. I raised the second child. Okay, I'm the one that was home with her from infancy up until she was 2 and 3 years old. It was me that was with her at 6, 7, 8. Now, while her mom was working and gallivanting, I was there. I taught her to walk, to talk, to draw, to color. I did all these things. So it hurt when me and her mother got a divorce, and we went to court for shared custody. Shared custody. I had to fight for shared custody. She knowing I was a good dad, and then putting poison into that kid. It hurt.
So let me play.
So I
Let
can
me play that.
imagine how it would feel for a mother. I can
Right.
imagine.
Right.
But unfortunately, but you know what? The good thing about it is, and I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but fortunately, if you have that best kid's interest at heart, and you know that dad is going to do the ultimate job, go for it.
So let me play devil's advocate.
Hmm.
Would you say, when I say devil's advocate, I'm just trying to spin it.
I get you. I get you.
Can they see it a different way? You say that you feel like you was a great father, but if
Yes.
they feel the total opposite, if they if they would come to you and say, I don't think you're a great dad. Everybody that surround you say the same exact thing. Would you still say that you're a great dad? If everybody
If
came to you and said, "No, bud, you really thought this, but it was really this way," could you be open to that thought process?
yes, I could.
Okay.
If I've got a lot of people looking at me and
Mhm.
saying you're a bad dad because, well, you didn't celebrate Christmas. You didn't want your kids to celebrate Christmas,
Mhm.
okay? And you're a bad dad, okay? To them, yeah, I'm a bad dad. Okay, because that's what they put in. That's their perspective of a good dad. Okay,
Mhm.
but then I'm looking at the kid. Um, did the kid have clothes on their back? Did the kids have food in their stomach? Did they have a roof over their head? Did I abandon them? Did I abuse them? Did I treat them wrong? Did I give them training and knowledge and all that? Well, then I have to look deep down in myself and say,
Mhm.
okay, these folks are saying I'm a bad dad because I did not buy my son a car. I did not pay their college to. I didn't pay for them to go to college or anything like that. Or I
You didn't
didn't.
buy him a bike.
I didn't. I didn't buy him a bike. I didn't even buy him a bicycle. No, he didn't deserve it.
Right.
Okay. I didn't. Oh, I didn't take them take them trick or treating or something like that. That makes me a bad dad. Well, to them, I'm a bad dad, and hey, let them think that. But if I know what I did with them, as far as making sure that they were taken care of, they clean. Do they look abused? Do they look
Right.
like they haven't had a meal today? Or do they look like they if you ask them a certain question and everything,
Right.
would they be able to answer it and honestly say, well, who told you that? Oh, well, dad told me about that. Okay, so does that still make me a bad? And then I had to go back to them again. Said, does that still make me a bad dad? Well, you still didn't take them trick or treating, you know. What do you
Well,
what do you
it really
what do
it,
you do?
it really depends on what the kids think, though. It sometimes it's that. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I
I get
think
what you're
kids.
saying.
I think when you have two parents going in separate have different thought processes,
Right.
where you have a father that's this way and the mother is this way, you know, and I'm not being specific about what they would think about. It may be that the dad is all about, oh well, you know. Let this happen, and the mother's like, no, 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 it shouldn't be that. Whatever the case may be, um, I think the kid is going to choose the candy of
Right.
the situation. The kid is not going to choose, I'm sorry, the child is going to choose the sugar of the situation and not the salt of the situation. And we all know sugar has always been the bad guy. It's salt that has always been the good guy. But when they get that, they don't care for the salt too much. They only care for the sugar. Well,
I get it.
mommy gave me candy, you know?
I get it. I get it. Well, that's one reason why we were saying too that being raised by the dad in most cases, and statistically,
Hmm.
it shows a different outcome because mom seems to be doing more of the sugar than the salt.
That's right.
And and they show that. That's all I'm saying, Ursula. They keep showing that. They just show
Hmm.
that. I'm not saying
Oh,
in
Wait,
all
wait,
cases.
wait. For people who always about conspiracies, do you think maybe that's just propaganda?
nope.
So
It's
so when would
facts.
it not be? So but here's the thing though. Here's the thing though, Ursula. If the statistics show that, hey, you know what, the statistics were completely wrong, and kids are better off when they're raised by their mother, would that be propaganda?
No, it'd be the truth.
Nope. You see what I'm saying?
Uh,
See what I'm saying?
It'd be the
See
truth.
what I'm saying? It'd be the
But
truth. But
we got 3 minutes left.
okay.
So what you guys got going on this weekend, real quick?
well, it's I'm just gonna go to Fayetteville to go grab some food for the 4th of July. I'll be able to watch the fireworks from Winterville and Greenville from my
Oh,
balcony.
cool.
So
Cool.
I'm gonna have to get you to pick up me some steaks sometime when you go down there.
you got it.
Well,
That'll work for me.
I'm about to pull out of my driveway in about 20 minutes. I'm gonna go see what kind of foolishness can I get into in Atlanta.
Oh, really? See? See a good mama will be
Bad
staying
girl
home and be trying to go to
talking
look,
about
look,
a bad
look,
My
girl.
kids are
look.
gone. My kids are
A good
gone.
mama,
One's in
a
college.
good mama would be staying at home even though the
One's
kids
in
in college.
college. One is having a weekend sleepover with her cousin. So
It's
I
all
am
good.
not
It's all good.
mommy. I'm not mommy right now. I'm Ursula. Big
All
difference.
right, don't come back tomorrow. You've been biting the pillow now. Don't want to hear about that when you get back. Bye.
Hey, look, real
Y'all
quick. Look.
take care.
Hey, Jason, don't call me. You go to jail. He said,
There you
got no
go.
building.
There you
None.
go.
All right, guys. Love you guys. Thank you. Hopefully
care,
we'll have
y'all.
something good for next week. Y'all take care.
All righty.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care.